What's up everybody, it's your boy Amber from Productions, and today we're back with another discussion video. Today is a bit different because instead of discussing anything that we've covered on the channel already, we're actually discussing a bit of a community theory between the SoulsBorne fandom. But even then, it doesn't give it proper justice, mainly because it's also leading into Elden Ring and Sekiro. To get a basic idea on the theory, it proposes a connection between every game that FromSoftware has developed, under Miyazaki. Now, I've seen several people cover this on YouTube, mainly connecting Dark Souls to Demon Souls and Bloodborne, but I haven't seen anybody connect Elden Ring and Sekiro to the timeline. Now before I get too deep in this video, I'm going to give two disclaimers. First is a spoiler warning for Elden Ring, Dark Souls 3, and Demon Souls, and potentially other FromSoftware games, so if there's one game that you want to play and you don't want certain endings being spoiled about it, please click out of the video. Secondly, this is more of a discussion to try to connect the games, and is in no way canon. To my knowledge, Miyazaki has actually said that he never had the intention of having all the games in the same universe, mainly because that would lack creative freedom. This begs the question of why I myself and other people in the community would try to connect the games if he says that they're not supposed to be connected. But I personally have two reasons. First is that I can spot a bunch of connections between the games, or at least what would feel like connections, and secondly, I thought this would be fun to talk about. With that being said, let's get into it. Let's spark some discussion. Now, the best place to start would probably be with the base theory. The theory starts between Dark Souls and Demon Souls, mainly with one of the endings of Demon Souls connecting to the beginning of Dark Souls. Now, in the two endings of Demon Souls, the first one starts with a player character putting an end to the Demon Scourge, and the world continuing presumably in the same way that the real world does. In the other ending, in the assumed bad ending of the game, the Soul Feeder demon ends up consuming all the souls on the planet and then eventually redispersing, covering the world in fog. Now this leads into the Dark Souls franchise, mainly because the world starts off consumed by fog, with the dragons roaming over the skies. This event is actually supported by the existence of an item in Dark Souls 3, the Skull Ring, which makes direct reference to the Soul Feeder. With this event in mind, Demon Souls shares a world with Dark Souls because Dark Souls is the world that is created if the Soul Feeder wins. While this part of the theory has the most backing towards it, the connection between Bloodborne and Dark Souls is a lot more conjecture. After completing the DLCs to Dark Souls 3, we return to the painted world, where the painter girl begins to paint the next painted world. Try saying that one 3 times fast. The supposed difference between this painted world and all the other painted worlds is that this one is going to be painted with a pigment that is the blood of the Dark Soul. The painter girl actually describes it as a cold and dark world. In the context of this theory, Yharnam would be the painted world. There's also a bit of a theme in the series, from a transition of soul power to blood power, starting in Demon Souls, all the way through the Dark Souls theories and into Bloodborne, is something that I've noticed people mention as a symbolic element to the theory. With all this in mind, this would connect Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and Bloodborne all together in one timeline. But how do Sekiro and Elden Ring fit into the mix? Now, I think Sekiro could have a very basic answer of how it could fit into the series, that being that it takes place in the Far East. The thing about the Dark Souls series, technically we never leave the area. While the name changes from Lordran to Drain Lake to Lothric, it's always on the same ground. We never see Astora, we never see Katarina, and we sure as hell never see the Far East. But just like how several of the games are connected between reoccurring characters like patches, we actually have characters who are from the Eastern Lands. One minor character in the original Dark Souls game was Shira, who clearly was from the Eastern Lands. There's actually another character along with him that would basically fit the role of a shinobi. As an explanation of why we never see any hollows in Sekiro, I would take a guess that it takes place in between the times in between the first flame is fading. This would also give an excuse of why there's a different leveling system in Sekiro than there is in Dark Souls. But then again, Sekiro could be completely unrelated to the game. The primary connection that I want to look at is between Dark Souls and Elden Ring. The connection that I see between Dark Souls and Elden Ring is between the End of Fire ending in Dark Souls 3 and the Age of Stars ending in Elden Ring. Now, for those of you who either played through the game and got the ending, or have actually seen the playthrough I did, it was the ending that I got, the Firekeeper actually mentions while the first flame starts to go out, that eventually smaller flames will dance across the sky. That is shortly before the world fades to black. But in the context of the Age of Stars ending, those tiny flames are actually the stars illuminating the sky. A major theme in FromSoftware games is that there's constantly a cycle of life and death, a cycle of the world restarting over, and a potential cycle could be that every game that we participate in is just continuing one larger cycle. Every time we enter a game, it's always at the turning of the age, the fading of the first flame, the demon scourge, the rise of the pale moon, and in Elden Ring, after a war between the gods. The world of Elden Ring, the lands in between, isn't just some random place, it's the transition between worlds. Well, there's a bunch of stuff that I could mention that could support connections between the individual games. I think this would be a good place to stop, mainly because I want other people to start discussing this. My series is literally called Sparking Discussion, is it not? But hey, that's just my opinion. If you disagree, leave a comment. If you do agree, leave a comment because I'm interested to hear your opinion on this topic. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I will see you in the next one, and bye-bye!